We've all probably thought about being a superhero at one point or another. Having special powers like flying, invisibility, or telekinesis, we wondered what it would feel like and how we would go about saving the world. Well, here's something fascinating. According to a Stanford study, if someone plays a virtual reality game in which they have a superpower and help others, when they take off their headset, they behave kinder in real life. It's that feeling of doing something for the greater good, experienced in an immersive digital environment, that can make someone want to keep helping others, to carry that positive mindset forward. What if we can use the same virtual reality approach to tackle real life issues? Another significant audiovisual engagement tool is cinema. Movies can evoke a spectrum of different, intense emotions within us and present us with perspectives from various parts of the world. So, how extensively can a movie affect our attitudes? Can it also make us more pro-social? Something we're all constantly thinking about is connection. Perhaps it's connection to our inner selves, our passions, or to other people. That last aspect seems to be problematic on a global scale. Just in the US, 3 in 5 adults feel lonely. Interestingly, men are more affected than women. According to a 2019 survey, 63% of men feel lonely, in comparison to 58% of women. In Japan, a number of people say they do not have any social interactions beyond their family members. That's 15% of the population. In Mexico, 14% of people report a similar experience. It may seem that social interaction is a natural core component of being human, yet it is something that many people struggle with. Loneliness has pretty much been a hidden global pandemic before the real pandemic happened. And it has been further exacerbated by the fact that we've all been spending quite a bit of time isolated from friends, family members, and coworkers. According to research by Brigham Young University, the health risks associated with loneliness are comparable to having 15 cigarettes per day. And it can be 2 times more harmful to mental and physical health than obesity. Think about that. Loneliness can also contribute to hostility and aggression. Due to the lack of social connection that someone craves but doesn't possess, a cognitive dissonance is created, and feelings of insecurity and anger arise. According to a study by the University of Pennsylvania, a linguistic analysis of Twitter posts revealed the association of loneliness with anger, depression, and anxiety, as well as negative emotions towards relationships. This supports previous research that demonstrated heightened aggression and hostility towards women among lonely men, as well as increased anger among lonely young adults. Almost 60% of teenagers in the United States report being cyberbullied. The effects are detrimental, leading victims to drug abuse, depression, and self-harm. And one of the reasons this issue may be happening is loneliness. Loneliness leads to problems with emotional self-regulation and may cause people of different ages and genders to lash out at others online. It is a growing problem, but one that we perhaps can combat with the help of technology and media. Using them to fight cyberbullying may seem contradictory at first, but the situation is actually a lot more nuanced and interesting. Let's go back to our discussion of films and of virtual reality, the fascinating technology that usually involves people wearing goggles that kind of remind me of Frozone from Incredibles. You may be familiar with virtual reality from the entertainment side, through gaming experiences ranging from Star Trek to Minecraft, as well as implementation in a variety of industries for educational and training purposes. I started off this talk with an example of how virtual reality can be used to promote pro-social behavior. In another Stanford study, people who experienced job loss and homelessness in a VR setting developed empathy that lasted longer in comparison to people who were exposed to other mediums. The participants in the VR condition were more likely to care personally about the circumstances of the homeless people than, for example, people who read a related text. A similar effect has been demonstrated in relation to watching films. In a Dutch study, children watched a part of a Disney movie that showed the protagonist helping a friend. Immediately afterwards, their prosocial behaviors were tested through a puzzle-solving competition in which each child competed with their friend. The children who did not watch the clip were much less likely to help their friends solve the puzzles than the children who watched the clip. Hence, at least in the short term, helping behavior was increased. Many scientists have demonstrated the effect of film watching on brain chemistry. Movies immerse us in the points of view of other people and can trigger the release of different neurochemicals, such as oxytocin, which is associated with empathy. So that's pretty curious. Virtual reality in movies can affect our attitudes and perceptions. So could we then use these tools to help someone develop empathy, to develop his or her sense of helpfulness and kindness online, to stop them from becoming a cyberbully? We also can't forget about loneliness, the loneliness issue as a contributor to negative behaviors. As I mentioned earlier, virtual reality and film can be of use in this area as well. According to the University of Buffalo and Miami University of Ohio, watching favorite television shows can decrease loneliness and heighten a sense of belonging due to the bond experienced with the show's characters. In some cases, virtual reality might be better at decreasing loneliness and improving psychological well-being than television. In a study conducted by MIT, older adults who viewed travel and relaxation related content through VR had better perceived health compared to those who viewed the same content through TV. The participants in the VR group felt less socially isolated and more outgoing, better able to handle stress, and generally had more positive emotions. A similar effect was demonstrated in older adults with cognitive impairments. Using VR technology increased their levels of happiness and relaxation. Of course, neither virtual reality nor television or movie watching can entirely replace real-life interaction or experiences, but they can serve as helpful resources in cases where individuals are unable to travel or interact with others in person. And given the possibilities of virtual reality to create a benefit for our society, we need to find ways to make it affordable and accessible so that it can be widespread and reach its true potential. You might be wondering, wouldn't more time spent in front of the screen and on digital devices be harmful, especially to young people? Actually, Oxford researchers found that for children, spending 1 to 2 hours daily using digital devices leads to better socio-emotional well-being compared to children who do not use technology. More than 5 hours of screen time would not be a great decision, but in moderation, it may be of benefit. The creative, technological, and media spheres are powerful. I've always been intrigued with using them for social impact, especially at their intersection. As an artist and entrepreneur, I use online platforms to encourage people to embrace their individuality and be confident. I've created an art and photography series on Instagram that follows the adventures of a sheep named Cheapers and a pug named Puggy as they travel the world and respond to different events. They are not afraid to stand out, and viewers have really bonded with them and the positive messages and ideas that they carry. And in a way, they act as virtual companions to connect with and maybe of help if someone feels lonely or negative. In summary of this overall discussion, tools like virtual reality and movies and art as well have the potential to help people, have the potential to help our society. Loneliness is a crisis. Cyberbullying is a crisis. Anger, aggression that people may feel because they're suffering from social isolation, that is a crisis. We need to use the incredible technologies and creative mediums at our disposal to tackle these issues so that they exist no more, so that people are more pro-social, more empathetic to others, and less lonely. If we can do this, our contribution to the greater good, to our communities, will be immense. And then we can truly be superheroes. Thank you.